You're listening to Trivista's Small Talks, short conversations with experts throughout our dealerships.
So today our topic is RepairLink, and we're going to be discussing the many ways that a customer can get parts from us here at Trivista, and then we're going to do a deep dive into the specifics of RepairLink. Hello everybody, my name is Anita Massey, and I'm the Director of Marketing at Trivista Companies. Today we're being joined by Brian Lee, who is our Assistant Parts Manager, and Tony Rainbolt, who is our Parts Counter Specialist, each from our Trivista Louisville, Kentucky dealership. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you guys could take time out. So I think it's important to start out and let people know that Trivista as a corporation has, in my opinion, a very impressive $13 million worth of inventory on our shelves. That's a lot of inventory, of course, and we do that for a reason so that we can source whatever is needed as often as possible to all of our customers. And so to get all that inventory off our shelves, we basically have three main methods for ordering parts. So we're going to talk about each of those. The first one being ordering in person at one of our dealerships where somebody can literally walk in the door, place an order, walk out with their part. Second one is where they order through their outside parts sales rep. Obviously, they've already, have an account with us in order to do that. And then ordering through RepairLink, and we'll talk in more detail about what that is. So, Brian, I thought we would start with you and maybe have you talk about the first two methods that I mentioned of getting parts. So, would you like to talk about how each one of those works?
Yes. So, first one, you can come in our dealership, talk to one of our parts reps at the counter. They can look up your year, make, and model with your VIN. If it's an international, also we're able to look up Cummins engines. We're also able to look up Mitsubishi trucks as well. We do work on all makes as well.
What about Isuzu?
We do not.
Do we do it in Iowa, do you know? Or is that
yes.
just... Okay.
Yes.
I asked because I know we sell Isuzu out of Iowa. So
yes, yes. Well, and likewise, it's the same for them, for Mitsubishi.
Okay, gotcha.
We're like Mitsubishi, we do look up. We can order parts. It's normally 2 to 3 days to get those. So.
Okay. So we do cross inventory or cross sell. So if somebody in another region needs something, we can do that back and forth.
Yes. We also have Caterpillar, the ability to look up Caterpillar engines, okay. Which we do a lot of business with a lot of our customers.
Okay. What about the transmissions like Eaton Fuller?
Yes.
Allison, do we
yes,
do
we look up. We have the availability to look up Allison transmissions, Eaton Fuller transmissions. We're able to look up Meritor, a lot of Meritor brake products, a lot of Spicer products. We just generally have a lot of all makes that we're able to look up and offer here.
Okay. So back to that, what you were talking about. So talking about placing an order, do we offer free delivery to people if they do place an order with us?
Yes. So what you can do is if you do not have an account, we can get you set up with an account. And as long as you're within our area for deliveries, we can make a delivery for you. We do offer the same day delivery, especially if it's in town. If it's in the metro Louisville area, greater Louisville area, or even in Jeffersonville, New Albany, Clarksville, that area of southern Indiana, we have two deliveries that go out that day. We have a delivery service that goes out off of 64 all the way to about a little bit before Frankfurt. Okay. And then we also have that delivery route also goes up through 71 all the way up to about Warsaw.
Okay. So that's a pretty broad spectrum. For those that aren't in our Louisville, Indiana, Kentucky region, I'm assuming that radius is probably the same, whether they're ordering parts from Altoona, Iowa, or
yes.
Youngstown, Ohio. It's probably about a 40 to 50 mile radius around each dealership.
It just depends on how the one in Altoona how their deliveries are set up.
Okay.
But we also have another delivery route that goes out to southern. It goes down south. We go into Shepherdsville, Elizabethtown,
Okay.
Litchfield, that area. So we cover a lot of ground.
Okay, perfect. I know that we do not have a parts call center here in our Indiana, Kentucky region. They do have one in Iowa. But if somebody were to call in, do you ever send people over to the parts call center if they're looking for something in that region?
Normally,
No.
I mean, we normally get people that call in specifically like in this area.
Okay.
We have had people that call in even in like the Lexington area, and because we have good competitive pricing, they've even drove down here, or we've shipped parts to them to get them their parts.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, I think we've covered that pretty thoroughly. Tony, how about you? Would you like to talk about our third method of ordering parts, which is RepairLink? Maybe talk about what is RepairLink, how does the process work?
Sure. So with RepairLink is a online service that a lot of dealerships use. It gives the customer the capability of looking up their own parts, checking inventory, checking the availability, and ordering through that system. With that being said, most of the customers that we use RepairLink with have already had it set up before we went with it. Ford here is real big with it. Almost all the Ford dealers use it. There has been a lot of complaints with some of the other dealers as far as manufacturers. Chevrolet will get you so far into a picture, but then won't go the rest of the way. So you would have to call them with a sub picture or a sub unit and let them kind of get a little farther. With ours, with the International IC bus and with Navistar, it'll let you go all the way through all of our diagrams.
Right.
So you can dive all the way into ours to where other dealers don't give you everything. Maybe they are trying to keep their part numbers captive, or they don't want
okay.
the
I
average
see what
person
you're
to have access to it. But for us, ours is out there. We do a lot of collabing with Ford. So the certain F-750s we actually built. Certain, they have our engines and a lot of their stuff in the older equipment. So a lot of our Ford and International goes back and forth. I've got two customers that have F-750s that we can use their VIN number to actually look up stuff.
So this is a dumb question, but is an F-750 considered a Class 5? Or is that bigger than a Class 5? I don't know.
It depends on how they have it spec'd.
Okay.
It still is going to stay medium duty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Okay.
think you're ever going to get higher than that. I mean, I have seen a couple with air brakes and a couple with some special equipment on it.
Okay.
But for the most part, they're just going to stay a medium duty truck.
Okay.
With that, there's going to be a lot of, some of the stuff will interchange. So some of the stuff we look up, we can look up Ford parts. We might be able to get all of it except for, say, an interior piece that we don't manufacture or
Okay.
we don't make.
Which is captain just for Ford.
Okay, but then
Yeah.
you can get the bulk of the order and then send the customer to Ford to
Correct.
get that one last piece.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and with
good.
that, so we'll kind of maybe go back a hair. Anybody can, it's free to be on Parts Online or the RepairLink. So when you do the RepairLink, you set up an account, and then you have to ask permission from the dealer to be part of their group. So when you go in, you register, you'll find your local International or Navistar
Okay.
dealer, which would be us. You request, and then you just let one of us know. It should queue it automatically to the managers, but sometimes there's a day or two delay in that request. Hey, I registered, as long as you can accept me, we're good to go. We go in, we accept them. Then they have access to our inventory to be able to see.
So they can see at that point all of our, let's just for round numbers, $13 million in inventory. They
Yes.
see every part that we have on our shelves.
Well,
So yes and no. Anything that they've looked up and they check to see if we have it.
Okay.
It doesn't have a bulk catalog. You
I
can't
see.
you can't go
Okay.
and just
It's
say
part specific.
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay.
So you have to go in with a VIN number, knowing what you need ahead of time.
Got it.
If you want to go in and find a generic 17-inch wheel, there's no way to generically do that. It would
Got
be
it.
per VIN per application.
Okay.
correct.
So then when you find the part, hypothetically front brakes. So you want front brakes for a 4700 International. You go in, you would put the last date of your VIN number in. It would take you to the front section, and section 4 for us, which would be brakes. You go into it, find the pads that you need, click them, put them into your cart. Then it would let you know if we have that. One of the things that we've run into is there is a little bit of lag in between. So
In between what?
so when you put it in your cart and you go ahead and accept it and you would purchase it,
Right.
it sends it to us. We will pull the order,
Okay, I see.
make sure that we have it.
I see what you're saying.
In between, we've had another order go through in-house to where maybe it might not be available. So we'll have to send an email back and say, unfortunately, this was sold in the meantime. Some of the people don't always check that email back.
Correct.
So they just assume that they're going to get it. And that has been the only problem.
And then they come into the store expecting it, and then
Right.
you have to tell them.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
It's not here.
Okay.
So whenever they look up the parts that they need, it will show you in real time what our quantity is on hand, or if we do not
Okay.
have it. But in that meantime, the order can be processed through RepairLink. But like Tony said, that there is that lag.
Right. So someone could have walked in off the street and bought
correct.
that exact same
Correct.
part in that little bit of window.
And all that's just data transferring.
Yeah.
That's why you have that lag.
Yeah, but the good news is that it does show the customer, if they're going to order this part, there's 2 left or
Correct.
4
Yes.
left, so they know. Oh, I better get in there quickly. Okay.
And it also gives you the pricing for those.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll know everything that's there.
So if a customer signs up for RepairLink and they get approved and they've placed their order, do they pay online before they get here, or do they pay when they come in to pick it up, or is it?
Everyone that I deal with has an open account.
Correct.
I don't
Okay.
have an individual that's on a cash or
Got
credit
it.
account for say. Everyone that we have has a net 30 account that we deal with on it. I would have to say on the other end of it, it would have to be a paid invoice before,
Right.
just to make sure, that we didn't have any issues with that. But I would almost say they would have to prepay, and it should give you a prepaid box if I remember right.
Okay. So for the customers that have a net 30, do we internally do they have to submit a credit application, or do we just give them a window of ordering up to X amount of dollars?
It's all done through accounting. There is a credit app. They'll go through it.
So
they
once
fill it
they've
out.
registered, then accounting comes into play.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But they can still place orders, get their parts while that's being done.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a super simple, easy, quick process. It
Yes.
sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also with that, when they're setting up an account, some people are tax exempt, some aren't.
Mm-hmm.
There's a misconception. The Commonwealth of Kentucky used to let you use your personal. If you have a small business, they would let you use your personal Social Security number and let that be your tax ID number. And you cannot do that anymore. So if you want to go tax exempt, we do need the form from Frankfurt. It is an actual Kentucky form. But any of us, can direct them through it. If they've not set up an account, they can come to the front counter and, we can get them squared away.
Okay. I know that Navistar fairly frequently offers every month they offer specific parts promotions.
Yes.
There's usually 5 or 6 hand-selected items because we promote those every month through our email campaigns. And so you get special pricing if you order through RepairLink. Do you guys see a lot of activity with that? Do those promotions generate a lot of activity, do you think?
Normally they do. Yeah. These the flash sales that they have a lot are really good
Right.
for the customer. They're really geared toward the
Yeah.
customer. So the way that it's set up is that, say if you order 5 brake drums, you might get $100 off. Okay. So from there, you will put in your promo code, place that order. Now, if you plan on buying more drums, there's no limit to using that promo. So in
You mean
theory,
during the week of the sale?
during that flash sale,
Okay,
yes.
yes.
So you can continuously place orders using that promo and keep getting that $100 off for those drums.
So they can stock up.
Correct. There is no limit, but it is per order.
Got it. Okay. And so this would be an excellent resource for not just a single individual truck owner, but an entire fleet.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
To come in and buy in bulk, basically.
Yes.
I know another one. We had a flash sale on wheel seals. It was a
Mm-hmm.
common wheel seal they used. They took advantage of that and stocked up, quite a bit because it's something they knew eventually they would use because
Right.
a lot of their trucks use that.
Right. That
So
makes
they took
sense.
advantage of it at that point.
Okay. All right. I'm learning stuff. I didn't know a lot of these extra little benefits.
Yeah,
I knew it was easy to use, but I didn't understand all the, the intricate details
Yes.
of it. So it definitely, I can see where the advantage would be, especially those flash sales. They can be a bit of a nuisance sometimes in trying to get them, because they happen so quick.
Right.
But that's kind of the point, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point
That's
behind it.
why it's a flash sale.
That's right. Do it now, quickly, 5 days. All right. So obviously it's going to maximize the customer's time and money by utilizing these flash sales. Is there anything else? I had a note on here as far as cross-referencing. I'm wondering, like, if a customer comes in and they don't know maybe what they need, are you able to help them zero in on the part?
Yes.
You
Yeah,
can?
that is, I always say that our hardest part of our job is terminology.
Yes.
So
Okay.
where you were taught, where you went to school, where you were trained is what you learned something. So you go region to region, shop to shop, what I'm going to call a float, somebody else is going to call a fuel tank cinder. Somebody else is going to call it a fuel tank gauge. Somebody else is going to call it a cinder gauge for the fuel. Terminology is the hardest part of our job.
Yeah.
With us, there's a lot of things that we can kind of basically you decipher. I mean, recently there's been a language barrier. We have a lot of people that come in that speak only Spanish, and we've had to learn to translate. I speak a little bit of Spanish, not enough, to be real fluent, and we have to decipher through all that, go through. If it's something we can help them with, obviously save money. Some of the aftermarket stuff is always going to be a little bit less expensive, but sometimes aftermarket can get you in trouble in certain situations. We had a gentleman that come in with a fuel filter, just any old fuel filter. I just want the cheapest one you can get. Truck started running rough because it was the wrong micron for that filter. So then when we explained to him, hey, you really need this one. It'll run and it still will work, but it's not what you need in there.
And it's not what your truck
Right.
calls for.
Not
And
what
it's not
truck-
going to last long. So you're
Correct.
going to be
Yeah.
back in here sooner than you
Correct.
like spending
Yeah.
more money. So, okay, so that was an interesting point you brought up about folks coming in who speak different languages than us. So this is where a real advantage to that customer would be using RepairLink, because you now have the diagrams and the infographics, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So if you're not understanding what they're saying to you verbally about, I want this part, they can show you a picture of it. They can
Yes.
snap a
Correct.
photo.
Yes.
Okay.
I've had a gentleman that's actually brought in a picture generically he found off Google, and it was a Navistar illustration. The illustration number, when I tried to put it in, was no good, but with that picture and his VIN number, I could go in there and find it.
Okay.
Then I printed off what I had, able to hand it to him on the counter, and we went back and forth. He's like, yeah, that's it, exactly. So
That's cool.
sometimes with the illustrations it helps, and that's another thing with them. When you go through RepairLink, there is a full diagram, so you can see and break it down just like we would
Correct.
in the manual. So as we're looking through our parts catalog, sometimes it's hard to describe, well, it's next to a round piece, it's next to a square piece. For me, I have no idea where your square and round piece is. So I have to go in there and see, okay, now I'm in this picture with you.
So you're seeing
You're-
the engine breakout, basically.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you basically see
Okay.
everything
Yeah.
broken into to different
And it
divisions
gives
of
the,
pieces.
the customer that ability to see that full visual of however that diagram is broken down, just like we would see it.
And to trust that you're selling them the right part.
Correct.
Because I've often wondered, I hear you guys trying to talk with people that speak a different language, and I'm always amazed at how well you seem to navigate that whole conversation. And then before I know it, they're walking out the door and they're happy and they're smiling and they have a
Right.
part in their hand.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing tool to be able to offer all of our customers. I like hearing that. Okay, I'm just looking at my list. What other things have I maybe not brought up, or is there anything else you want to talk about from any of these three aspects of getting parts to a customer that maybe we haven't touched on?
With the RepairLink, it's kind of a one-stop shop, because I have just a small list in front of me. International, Navistar, which is us, and the IC bus, but also you have Acura, BMW, Chrysler, Ford, GM, Honda, Hyundai, Mercedes, Mazda, VW or Volkswagen, Volvo, Toyota, Suzuki, Subaru, Porsche, Nissan, Mitsubishi. I mean, there's a lot of
You can
manufacturers.
get parts for all of those OEMs.
We cannot, but
The customer
the
has the
same
ability
customer
to
that
look
sets
those up.
up his account with RepairLink.
Oh,
Once you
I
set
see.
once you
Okay.
set an account up with RepairLink, you can basically
That
make your computer a
customer, yeah.
one-stop catalog.
Right.
So if they know they have Subarus in their fleet and they need certain filters, they can register with Subaru.
I see what you're saying.
And then
Okay.
if it's a dealer like Bachman, they can register their Subaru, their GM,
Yep.
everything at one stop, and they can keep running through it. I do know that the Chevrolet, a lot of people complain that you can't get far enough with the Chevrolet, in the diagrams. I've not used it to see how far you can go, but I know on ours, in the past, I would have a customer call and say, hey, I can only see this much, and I can't see what I need. We can go right in and look at it, and I'm not sure if it's just us being able to
Because we're a dealer, maybe?
well, and we've gone through it enough. We know kind of a different route or a different path to go through to get that illustration. You would think if it's a piece associated with the exhaust, it would be with the exhaust, where sometimes it might not be. It might be part of the engine.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those things we kind of learn, and with time, it seems to be very user friendly, to where they can just kind of point and click and determine.
navigate.
But one of the things to touch on, if they do like it and they want to continue to use it, but they can't find something, that one time they can call us. Hey, I'm trying to look at this. I really can't find what I'm looking for. Where would you go if you was in there?
Okay.
Any of them can get a hold of all of us on the counter. Or if they can't get it, someone on the counter, even the managers, any of us would help explain, hey, you need to go into this section.
Okay.
And try to help talk them through it or walk them through it if we need to.
Okay, so then that's excellent. And then back to the very beginning as far as getting registered. If a customer is hearing this and wants to register with RepairLink, can one of you talk about, I assume it's a pretty simple process. Log into RepairLink and just fill out it's just like a
general
few
information,
questions.
company name. If they're an individual, it'll be an individual name. There's an address, email address, phone number. Your basic simple registration things.
Okay, so
There's
that's it?
nothing, prying. There's no third party selling of anything.
Okay.
You don't need anything above and beyond. You're not setting up an actual credit application, so there's no social security numbers, no
Yeah.
proof of income. Nothing's needed. It's a free service. That it's very simple. You go in, once you register any of the dealers or any of the manufacturers you would like to go through, then you basically request that to be able to have that
request
dealer.
that dealer.
Oh, okay, so they could go in and request International or Chevy or Volkswagen.
Yes. And then, so say if they signed up for RepairLink and then they wanted just to look up International Parts, they want to go through us, they would choose
select
us as their preferred dealer.
Got it.
But likewise, like Tony was saying, if they have something like a Subaru, they can put in Subaru and then pick out a Subaru dealer as their preferred dealer.
Okay, I got it now. All right. Well, it sounds super easy, and it sounds like a great benefit, I would say, to
It's a good
anybody that
program.
owns a truck. Yeah, especially because you're always going to need parts, right?
Correct.
That's the devil in the details there. All right. Is there anything else that we have not talked about that you guys feel we should tell the public about RepairLink or just our parts ordering system? Have we covered it all, you think?
We could spend days trying to cover it all, but for the first time, running through and just kind of going through RepairLink, I think it's pretty thorough. We're always there to help. If they want to try to go to RepairLink but not sure, you can reach out to any of us. We can kind of walk you through it.
Okay.
There's 2 or 3 other actual videos on RepairLink's website. That's a generic one. It's going to help them set up their actual account, but it wouldn't be specific to us. You would just have to request us as a dealer after that point.
Yeah, we've got some videos on our site as well, or on our YouTube channel, I guess I should say. And we've done a couple other talks, but not to this in-depth detail about it. So I think this is going to be very helpful.
Well, in RepairLink, it's a really, really good money saver for customers.
Oh,
it really
well,
is.
especially taking advantage of the flash sales.
Yes.
Well,
That
and
sounds like a
time
big
is
thing.
money.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you send a gentleman who's in charge of the shop. Excuse me. You send him who's in charge of the shop. He's going to get parts. He gets here. If there's a line, if there's not a line, if he's not really sure what he wants, let's say best case scenario, that's an hour wasted. Then by the time he gets back, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. If it's a closed shop, you're an hour and a half down, and you don't even know if you have the part. Where he could be directing other people from his office,
Right.
still there trying to find the part. Oh, they do have it. I'm going to have that laid out. not necessarily him that has to come get it at that point. You can send anyone, if you can even sweet talk your boss into going and getting it, to where he could be in the shop. There's always something, where it would help save time and money,
Right.
with that system.
And so if a person does place an order on repair through RepairLink, then if that order comes in, that's an order that one of our parts delivery people could deliver.
Oh,
Correct.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We currently have several customers that place their orders through RepairLink specifically, and then we will process them and get those delivered out that
Okay.
day.
Okay. So
As long
that's-
as we have those parts in stock, of course.
Right. So that's an even bigger time and money savings.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Well, I think we've covered everything for today. So I'm just going to thank you guys both for having this informative discussion with us on parts and parts ordering and RepairLink itself. I'm sure this information is going to be very helpful to any potential customers out there. So if anybody would like to learn more or place a parts order or get signed up for RepairLink or talk to these guys in particular, they can reach out to us at trivistacompanies.com. See you next time.